I can't help but feeling bitter. Sweet from all the tangerine in places that you love to be. And I try not to hear the sound, but this ringing, it brings me down. A shudder in the blinds, but a melody reminds me of how you're gone and it's bittersweet. Gone, but in our memories, gone and now you're make-believe. Gone, this life it gets the best of me. Gone, but in our memories, gone and now you're make-believe. I wore the same black shirt to celebrate a life cut short. Listening to songs that I used to adore, hoping that the surface ain't as cold as the floor. And I try not to hear the sound, but this ringing, it brings me down. A shudder in the blinds, but a melody reminds me of how you're gone and it's bittersweet. Gone, but in our memories, gone and now you're make-believe. Gone, this life it gets the best of me. Gone, but in our memories, gone and now you're make-believe. 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 You're gone and it's bittersweet. Gone, but in our memories, gone and now you're make-believe. Gone, this life it gets the best of me. Gone, but in our memories, gone and now you're make-believe. I'm coming to terms with the time and the space when everything's fucked and I can't feel the same. I'm drowning in absence, a scene cut too short. When nothing else mattered, you fell to the floor.
I'm screaming out, nobody hears me now. From this hotel room where I'm breaking down, trying to figure out what all this means. Suicidal thoughts, material things. I come back in and you already know. My world's on fire, but it's part of the show. Sleep in empty rooms and passenger vans. It's not what I do, this is who I am. Allow me to take it back to the start, when we wrote with Sharpies on CDRs, wrote on t-shirts from the trunk of the car. Marked miles on the map till it fell apart. And what if all I want is what I've always had? And what if all I am is who I've always been? You know my name since 2005, back when AD was the name in the lights. I'm doing my best, so fuck you, goddamn. Tired showing you I belong where I am. Pulling at the bottle, baby, give me a wish. Fire off shots with intentions to miss. I set the stakes high cause I love the risk.
All right.
I stare down
What's
death
up,
and I
guys?
give it a kiss. And what if
I wholeheartedly apologize. That was not cool. I was having a heck of a time getting set up here. I thought I had everything in order. Thought everything was all good. And it wasn't. So, thank you, archivist. I hope you're still in here. I was setting something up, and then it just kind of got messed up. Give everyone that get in here. I hope you're good. Let's check how things are going here.
what's the shit all about? Drowning in self-doubt, the guns in my mouth. How much can I take before I freak out?
What's good, guys? Tuesday.
And yes, I'm fine.
Another Tuesday.
Thanks for asking.
I don't know why the whole country was so freaking cold, like unseasonably cold for way too long. And now that's all changed. Now it's hot. It's hot all the time. All right, guys. Let's do this. Enough wasting time. I've wasted plenty of time. In fact, I've wasted way, way, way too much time. I am Rob, though. This is the Punk Ots, and this is our weekly stream. Maybe bi-weekly. I want to shout out everyone that hung out on Saturday. Kind of my Saturday makeup stream, because I missed the stream previously on the prior Tuesday. Now, though, that doesn't matter anymore. That stream that I missed, it is completely meaningless. Let me tell you why. Because right now, if I'm here on the old YouTube, I type in 31 TV Rancid. 31 TV Rancid. And what do I get? Click. Look at that. It's literally what you missed last week when I was not streaming. I had some technical difficulties. It was pretty embarrassing. I really, really, really hope it does not happen again, because that was a real bummer. But on the flip side, I am happy that you guys get to see what it is that I was doing last week. And what it was hanging out with the punk rock dad, 31 TV Shop 31. Go ahead and check him out. And what we did is we talked Rancid, Operation Ivy. They were called Bad Optics at the time. We were checking all that out. We were talking about it. We were reminiscing about it. And I think that's going to be a regular thing between myself and 31 TV, Shop 31. We are going to, every couple of weeks, just kind of do a hangout and do a little podcast. He's putting it up on his channel as like the full conversation. So if you want the full conversation, you'll go ahead and hit up his channel. If you want a more edited and concise, I would say, and we do go all over the place. I'm not saying his is not concise. It's literally the same conversation. But if you want a shorter version of the conversation, I should have that up by at least Friday at the latest, but I'm trying to get it up sooner. Just to give you guys like a little bit of a flavor here.
Never gonna be, bro. They're fucking 60. Like, no, it's not gonna be as good as Operation Ivy. They're not as mad and angry as they were when they were 18 years old.
And that was us talking about.
How is that not obvious?
Reunion.
Well, and that when they say that, they're missing the point of why Op Ivy is good in the first place. It is that youthful part of it. Like their LP's named Energy for a reason, and they have
Facts.
the live show and all that. I think that's where I'm always not totally into them reuniting. Like if they ever play together again, I will be there. I will jump on a plane and be there.
That's where
I don't necessarily want it. Yeah.
Archivist, welcome back. I'm glad you stuck with me. Yeah. I made some mistakes in the prep today, and we are where we are. So yeah, as I was saying, go ahead and check out us talking, having the conversation that you should have been privy to last week, but we're not. I believe our next conversation will be a bit of an origin story episode for us where we talk about getting into punk and some of the first shows and all of that stuff. And I think we might have some similarities, but also some contrasts. And I look forward to exploring all of that over there at 31 TV. So go ahead and check it all out. It was definitely fun to do, and I hope definitely to do it again because I know I will. Lots of tours being announced. Nothing very, very super significant in the news unless there's something that I'm really missing. Kind of like I mentioned on Saturday, man. Every news story on any of these rock websites is Motley Crue suing each other or the new Metallica album. I have some thoughts on both of those, but I'm not really going to get into it right now. But man, these rock and metal websites are just full of that stuff. Something did catch my attention on a website today. Oh, that's a good. You know what, Archivist? Thanks for letting me know that. Anyone else in the chat too? Give us your input on that. Like, what was your first show? Pennywise and the About Time tour. You know, God, I'm curious your take, Archivist. What the if you had to say offhand, what's the peak Pennywise album? Because I don't know. Sometimes I think About Time, and then I kind of waffle. I think their stuff is a little more diverse than people criticize them for, but it is kind of hard to differentiate their albums sometimes. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for sending that, and we will definitely add that to the show. So yeah, it's a good idea. Take some notes, and that'll always be part of the streams too. Is kind of soliciting some stuff for you guys. Okay, now you're just showing off, Archivist. You know how lame like mine is gonna be, like when I reveal it on the show. Unknown Road. I see that's the direction I didn't think you were gonna go. About Time, Straight Ahead. About Time, Straight Ahead. Don't know that they ever put out a bad album. I like the one that Jim wasn't on. I haven't listened to the most recent one, the one that came out a couple years ago, the one with the badass cover art. I haven't listened to it as much, for no reason of like not liking them or anything. It's just time and energy and effort on my behalf. But the album that came out after Land of the Free, I can't think of its name, but the one with the green cover, I thought was good, but was not like a great follow up to as good as Land of the Free was. And like I don't know, I did lose Pennywise kind of in real time at that point. And again, they didn't really do anything wrong. And someday very soon we're gonna watch the other F Word either on this stream as a members stream or as an edited down video. But that is going to be incorporated into the show probably as we get closer to Father's Day. That might be something me and 31 TV explore a little bit, because I think that doc is it is a pretty heavy one and pretty relevant to this group, people watching this stream. I think it speaks directly to us, so I think we can put in a whole lot of commentary, not just on the individuals, but some of the talking points, and add our voices to that. But that is coming down the road, and that was my very long-winded way of talking about Pennywise, and they're a band that I'm curious, like what kind of stream or what kind of video would really make good Pennywise content. You know what I mean? Like an album tier ranking, I think would be very difficult, although that could be interesting. You know, a top songs, lyrical analysis, I don't think as much with them. Not that they're bad at lyrics, but I think there's a lot of similarity in their lyrics. Lyrics, by the way, as a teaser, going to be a big part of tonight's stream. We're gonna break down a lot of lyrics. The Fuse was pretty awful in my opinion, although I was quite surprised by Reason to Believe, which was released by MySpace originally. Yeah, that was one they actually cover in the doc quite a bit, right? Because signing to MySpace was their version of, I guess, signing to a major. Although I don't think Even though MySpace became really big with music, and even in that era, like that's the era of all those scene bands, right? I at the time didn't view them as signing with a major. I thought of it more as like being featured somewhere on the internet. Old Quackenbush, huh? Yeah, that'd be a good deep dive. I think a lot of these bands, and this is something I've been thinking about, that there's like two different categories with how I think about the histories of bands. Like we always like to split bands up into eras, obviously, and we have our favorite eras, our least favorite eras, more so than just one album. I think there's like clusters of albums or clusters of time and years. And like some bands, we look at them like the original lineup or the lineup that had the album that first went big or something to that effect. And the interesting stuff on bands like Jack Miller's video on No Use for a Name is, I like myself, I was pretty familiar with like No Use for a Name from Leche con Carne to the end of their career, but I knew some of the songs prior to that, but I didn't really know a whole lot about them. And I think it's great when content creators like Jack Miller actually put in that work and that amount of information to get that out there. Some bands have like really clean narratives. Some bands have full books written about their history, and those time and places are covered. Like me personally, we talk about NoFX a lot on this channel. I always think of NoFX as kind of really getting going with White Trash, which that is not the beginning of that band at all. And it's not even really the beginning of their good music. I would say Liberal Animation, as we talked about last week in reference to the Punk Rock Elite podcast. Liberal Animation is just not quite there yet, and then they really get going. They really get going with was it S&M Airlines that came next? Oh, I want to say it is. Re- regardless, yeah, that's weird. As to me, like I look at the Heffa era as really where they defined themselves as a band, but they're putting out plenty of good stuff, and there's plenty of parts of their catalog that exist prior to that album. But for me, that's the classic lineup in it, and it goes forward. And on the flip side, with the band like Pennywise, they have a lineup without their singer, and an album that is pretty well liked. Leche is a masterpiece. I am very proud of the Tony Sly, I guess you would call it, tribute video on this channel, because for no other reason than, yes, it was fun to make, and as I said, it's like one of my favorite pieces of music footage on the internet is watching that show. But also, if this is her, and I have no reason to believe it is not her, that Bridget Sly, Tony's widow, apparently saw the video, watched it with her daughter Fiona, and so they loved it, and that was cool. Like that video only has like 500 or 600 views, so not something that a lot of people had seen, but they had saw it. And if that's legitimate, that like warms my heart, and it's pretty cool. Taking a poop sounds better than Liberal Animation. I don't know, Archivist. I really don't want to test the two. I don't want to film that and then listen to Liberal Animation. Yeah, it's not good though. I mean, it really isn't. It's got its fans, but I think we can do better than that. I'm just rambling today. See, I missed all that time, so I think I'm trying to talk like a million miles per hour here to make up for all that. Before we get into our main topic, and I should note on that note, I'll take your word for it. Okay. I want to know on that on the main topic, I don't have my normal heart out. So if we're chilling at the end of our main topic of discussion, we want to let's watch some videos on the internet and chill back, and everyone wants to, and I'm in the mood to, we've got that open tonight. It's like we're off the leash. So something I did see on the news sites today was something that's not really related to punk in any way, but I just thought is fun and funny to think about. And that is, check out this headline here from Loudwire. Festival fraudster Billy McFarland says Fire Festival 2 is finally happening. Oh, hell yeah. Like, what a disaster this thing was. This is the equivalent of like them still trying to open the park with the dinosaurs after everyone got killed, like the first 3 movies, and they still go for a park with dinosaurs. That's what a second Fry, however the hell you say it, festival goes. And it's funny because, right, and I talked about this on the Saturday stream, we are in a time and place of like relitigating the history of festivals. And I think the genesis moment for it is this festival, because yes, Woodstock '99 is like this classic disaster, and I think you could talk a lot about what happened at Altamont back in the day, in Woodstock, and the modern Woodstock not actually happening, and you had Astro World last year, and so festivals, as much as I like them, and we'll be going to one a little later this year, trying to weasel my way through other ones, but I got some good stuff coming locally, so maybe not. The point is we're always reevaluating the festivals, and it started with those docs right there, but now it's happening again. And I guess the connection to punk rock, right, was like Blink-182 was the featured band on the original one. And remember remember the comedian Funches saying that the people deserve to get shanted there if they were going to see Blink-182. Don't know how that comment is received on this channel, because you guys are very polarized on Blink, which is kind of cool. All right, so check it out here. Convicted concert promoter Billy McFarland. That's a funny sentence. Convicted concert promoter. As like it almost like he's convicted for being a concert promoter, but convicted concert promoter who spent time behind bars for his role in 2017's ill-fated Fire Festival now says Fire Festival 2 is finally happening. Yippee. Does McFarland feel free to poke the music festival bear again after he was granted early release from federal prison last year? The con artist served his sentence for his scheme and duped investors about the fraudulent Fi Fest luxury music festival in the Bahamas, which was originally founded by McFarland and hip-hop artist Ja Rule. My man was like bamboozled, remember? That was great. By the end of 2022, McFarland was dropping clues about his future plans. As of this week, it looks like a new Fire Festival era may be upon us, according to the promoter's own Twitter. Fire Festival 2 is finally happening. Tell me why you should be invited. Well, I got someone for you here right in the chat, man. Got someone here for you. And then it goes on to recap the greatness of the original one. So for those of you who do not remember, McFarland famously organized the 2017 Fire Festival at the Bahamas that quickly fell apart as artists for the event began dropping out in the week before it was to take place. Though attendees made their way to the island to attend the upscale festival, the Fire Festival concerts never got off the ground at all. In the end, the non-festivities amounted to only the now infamous photo of a cheese sandwich. That was great. Presented to attendees in place of authentic island cuisine. They were promised. Some of the attendees were left stranded. The disastrous nature of the fest was detailed in Netflix's 2019 documentary, Fire Festival, The Greatest Party That Never Happened. There was 2 docs, I want to say. That's on my way. McFarland was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison after he pled guilty to charges of wire fraud. He was released after 4. Man, have you guys ever seen that doc too? And I don't know if it's the Netflix one. I think there's a Hulu one as well. I don't remember much, but like the actual businesses that this guy was involved in, aside from standing at this festival, like he had this luxury credit card, and the gimmick about it was that it was heavy. Like it didn't do anything else, and he would like promise rewards that were like unattainable, and it's like, dang, can anyone just like start a credit card company? Like if you're looking to do fraud, I feel like a credit card company is probably the business to go into. Good straight water. Hoping to have an iced tea delivered to me later. Hopes are not high. The iced tea was en route to me earlier. Significant other paid for the iced tea, and the iced tea never made it to my house. Maybe that's why I was a half hour late. All right. Let me diddle with something really, really quick. I'm going to hit playing the playlist really, really quick. Hang with me just for 1 second. There's just a button I have to press here, and I want to make sure I do it right, or else the stream might go off.
Everyone I fucking said, how can this be? Can this be me? Everyone I date, and everyone I fucking met him at a rap show, freaked out all his woes. I drank way too much. He called me his punk rock mama, left hand in hand. Oh, wasn't life so grand? It goes on red flags. That the overnight back, and when we broke up, I didn't hear a sound until I heard he was buried underground. Everyone I date, and everyone I fuck is dead. Everyone I date, and everyone I fuck is dead. How can this be? Can this be me? Everyone I date, and everyone I fuck is dead. Everyone I date, and everyone I fuck is dead. Everyone I date, and everyone I fuck is dead. Everyone I date, and everyone I
Okay,
fuck
I
is
think
dead.
that was good.
Everyone I date,
I don't actually
and
live
everyone
in
I
Arizona,
fuck is
Archivist.
dead.
I do have a degree from Arizona State University, but I do not live there. So, I don't know. Good question.
Sitting all alone, I feel like everyone is staring. There's
I want to say no, though, like, because that is the place that keep from showing.
So pour another one for me. I'll deal with this eventually.
Okay, I forgot
So
that about
tired and cold.
So I want to say no.
So
but yeah,
tired and cold. Now the walls are shaking. It's
Okay.
all I've ever
Let's see if I
known.
can pull off the next
But
part.
go ahead and make this place your home. So tired.
All right. So, the reason that we're here. Oh, my bad. I need to work on that. There's a setting here that'll do that. What my answer to you, Archivist, I don't actually live in Arizona, so I'm not sure. Although I don't think so. Because I've been to some shows out there. Like that is one of the places I'll go to see shows because I do live relatively close to there. And I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know. Okay. So let's set the scene here. There we go. Now, hopefully. I have a really colorless background. I apologize for that. But I hope you can appreciate what I got on the screen here. Not just that, but that. Lagwagon's Blaze. Now, why talk about Lagwagon's Blaze? Well, this past week, Saturday to be specific, I believe, could be Sunday. This past week, 20 years of Lagwagon's Blaze album. It's an album that I wouldn't say is underrated in their catalog because I think it gets a fair amount of respect, and it is an album that fills up quite a bit of their live show. A lot of openers from this album, and it's definitely part of the album. The thing is Lagwagon, I think, had a run in the 90s, and that is where we associate Lagwagon with so heavily. Like, that is the era that they did so much and so many of the big songs come from, and their scene, was so big. Not that it wasn't big in the 2000s, because it certainly was, and it hit a resurgence, and Lagwagon was a part of that. And thankfully, speaking of Arizona, last time I was there, I saw Lagwagon, and they were great, and they played a lot of songs from this album. So this is one that, as I mentioned, came out in the early 2000s. Now, there's a long gap between when this album came out and when their previous release had happened. And a lot happened in the interim, and we'll talk about some of that. But first, I want to ask you guys a question, and I hope you appreciate my little, let's see if I can point to it correctly. Oh, there, right? My little graphic. I have a bit of a slideshow here. Let's see if I can operate the slideshow. Last time I did a slideshow, it was a mess, but decided to give myself another crack at it. So before we get into it, I just wanted to ask the question: what is a lagwagon? Now, according to Joey Cape of Lagwagon, it's the name for his mother's car. And according to the Great Fat Records documentary, they were originally called Section 8. That was the name of the band. However, at the time especially, they kept running into these hardcore rap bands with the name Section 8. My man Joey Cape, he's a tough dude, but I don't think he thought he could outduel these gangster rappers. So they ended up changing their name to Lagwagon. But how would you guys describe the sound of Lagwagon? They, from a genre perspective, I think get categorized under two umbrellas. I think primarily you think of them as skate punk, coming out of that Fat Record scene, produced by Ryan Greene. They've got the rhythms, they have a little bit of that metal guitar. They very much fit into skate punk and are one of the defining bands, I would say, of the genre. They are also, I think, firmly categorized as pop punk, and in a couple of different ways. All skate punk kind of gets categorized as pop punk, especially if it had the type of audience that a band like Lagwagon has had. They also though have a lot of songs that you would categorize as what we think of more commonly as pop punk. They have plenty of pop punk songs, and they were an influence on a lot of the pop punk bands. They got a lot bigger than they did. On Saturday stream, we talked a lot about the Ataris, and Lagwagon was hugely influential to the Ataris and other bands. And you also have the production from Joey Cape on a lot of those albums as well. So in the bottom right-hand corner, or bottom left-hand corner of your screen, I simply asked the question, what is a lagwagon? And this is the equation that I came up with. A lagwagon is a no use for a name plus a Blink 182. I think that describes their sound really, really well. With that said, and I could have made more for the graphic, I just didn't. I think that means, and I don't know where this comes from, maybe we can make this family tree really, really weird. And you can say NoFX, I don't know, NoFX is their cousin or if NoFX is their grandpa on this tree. I really don't. Maybe Blink is a combination of NoFX and Lagwagon. That kind of thinking can drive you nuts, but you get the idea there. And the reason why I put those two bands as being a Lagwagon result, and again, like Lagwagon was pretty influential on Blink, so in an actual sense, it was the other way around. However, they have some of the silliness and the corniness and the cheesiness and all that stuff that you might love and hate about pop punk of Blink. Not to the levels that Blink gets with some of that stuff, but you definitely can understand how Blink would have been inspired by a band like Lagwagon. I think they were touring with them right about the time they were breaking. So they had that. But then, and something that I think Blaze specifically shows is the relationship that they have to the more serious, somber, and even melancholy style of punk rock. The style that a band like No Use for a Name and Tony Sly really, really perfected. Plus, musically, obviously, they're a little more aligned on that side. And I think you could break down Lagwagon in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of other pieces of Lagwagon and how you can define them. To me, Lagwagon is just a band that is always so freaking fun. Like if I'm listening to some music and Lagwagon comes on, it's usually never a skip because it's usually just a song I want to hear, a song I am enthusiastic about. They never really get old. They never get out of fashion. They never really grate on me. That's me personally. I know some people over the years have had some criticisms of Lagwagon and their style, some good faith criticisms. I don't see them getting tarred with a lot of bad faith criticism, although you do get the sellout word thrown at, but you get that thrown at them more back in the day because they were a lot lighter and a lot poppier than not only like their peers in what we thought of as punk rock, but I think even like within their direct scene. of the bands that they would tour a lot with, that were on their peer level, they were on the popular end of a lot of those bands. They're great though, and they have an extensive career that is still going. And let's see if I know how to move slides. It's a big moment for the show right here to see if I can control my slideshow from over here. And failure. Okay. Let me try again. Second time's always the charm. And no, that didn't work either. 1 second. This is fascinating. A fascinating chat as you guys watch me try to learn how to operate my stream. um, I've liked their last couple of albums, Archivist. I really have. I understand what you're saying, but but I really liked the one with the Surviving California with the dude on the skateboard, and then Hang. I liked Hang quite a bit. One More Song I thought was a really good song. On that one, I didn't like the album that was the follow up to Blaze. That album's just really like depressing though too. It's not their best, not their best work for sure. Yeah, it's just Joey. What do you think about Joey's solo stuff? Okay, so I am gonna have to just do this. Wait, one more thing, and then well, that's a bummer. Did you get to hang out with Joey after the fact? I know he likes to do that. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. Now that everyone had dropped off. All right. I'd say I feel differently on that. I don't think they're all great at it. And I don't think all these punk rockers can do country as that was the trend a couple of years ago, but I can deal with it a little bit. Okay. So I did fix that. So that was basically my opinion on what Lagwagon is from a genre standpoint. Now, speaking of Archivist, that's a great album. It's one. Let me see. Do I have it? Pull back the green screen just slightly. I have a case of vinyl right here. It's keying out a little bit, and for some reason it's got Past Lives by Alkaline Trio. But here's my copy of the big one. Got that not that long ago. It's not not an original or anything, but it's fun to listen to on vinyl too, because a lot of their stuff sounds so sleek. because they are very well produced. But I like the rawness here. Fat Mike sat at my table after a show about 15 years ago, and he was a blast. Told him I was Venezuelan, and he said he said Minnesotan. Maybe we're seeing double at the Triple Rock. That is really cool. That is so cool. And then you got Trashed, and which then really coming upon the scene. You have the covers on there. Really good albums. Really underrated, but also kind of proto Lagwagon still. Trash. So is that your number one? It's a good choice. Maybe their best album cover. From there, we go to their mid 90s stuff with Double Palladium, which has plenty of great songs, ones they've toured on recently. And then Haas. I love Haas. I don't know if Haas is my favorite. I think Trash might be the Archivist's favorite. I love the vibe of Haas. I love the songs. Sleep. All the songs are so good, but of course, Violins. Violins, I just think is an amazing, amazing song. All right, Archivist, don't let the groceries spoil. Come back though, because you got a lot of insight on Lagwagon. So if let's do a little Wikipedia here, hardcore research on Haas, and just look at this set list here or the song listing. Kids don't like to share, violins, name dropping, bombs away, move the car, sleep, sick, rifle weak, black eyes, bro dependent, razor burn. I've done some reviews and reactions. I love the Warp Tour 2002 DVD of Lagwagon's Razor Burn. Not the first time I ever heard Lagwagon, but definitely the first time I ever saw Lagwagon. Shaving Your Head and Ride the Snake. And on the streaming versions, there's a lot of other songs on there as well. And then looking at Double Palladium, Alienate, Making Friends, Unfurnished, One Thing to Love, Today, Bad Confession, Smile, 27, Choke, Failure, To All My Friends. Not the big fan of Double Palladium. Not that it's a bad album, but I think comparing that to like Haas is just not fair. I don't think it's a fair fight. But next is the real moment for Lagwagon. You know what I'm talking about. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. What a punk rock song. If you're comfortable calling it that. I don't see any reason why. Let's listen to a little May 16th. Let's see what version we'll find here. Live version, of course, so we don't get shut down. See, I don't think that's a video. Oh, that's crazy. That's a great story. Great story. So let's see if we can get a... Trying to find something more of this time that we're talking about. A pullout of... They were on tour a lot in 03 and 04. Let me look at that era. Bad searching on my behalf. Robert learns how to use the internet. Oh, look. There's my thumbnail. There we go. We'll go with this Mosh Cam video.
The song's called May 16th. Come on, send it! You can live for no one else, man. Like it must be huge. There's no cheating figure. You succeed in being mine, yeah. Oh, friend, see you there. I will be proud from afar. I can paint a picture in a moment of memories. There are many left. I am excited. That's right. It's just another Saturday. Take a step to freedom.
Like how that section was a little more busy than on the album version. Also, admire the stash there. I know that video's not huge on your screen, but Caper's stash is sweet.
It's just another Saturday. It's just another Saturday.
Ah, what a song, as Archivist said. Who's the song about? Whose wedding did he not get invited to? I know people know. Will anyone say it out loud? Or is it just something that I've never discovered and I should know? But I love the narrative of it and all that entails, and for as apparently as transparent as the Caper has been about those lyrics. I've always just found that super, super interesting and super, super fascinating. Let's look at the overall track listing, though, on Let's Talk About Feelings. Which, what a bummer that it was released November 24th. Like, I think of this album in my head. I was just thinking about it in my head, because again, I was 9, or I was 11 when this came out. But in my head, I'm thinking like, the album came out May 16th, right? The album came out May 16th. Every year on May 16th, right? We celebrate Happy Lagwagon Day. What year does May 16th fall on this year? This year, May 16th. Oh, it's a Tuesday. Jeez. I wonder what that stream's going to be about. 26. Let's see. Wikipedia listed at 25. Yeah. Now, This is the album too. Once an hour back in '98. Yeah, it's a good rate right there. I think of this album for the great songs, obviously, but all the little cut-ins, right? All the sampling, all that good stuff, all the clips, and um, to me, the album, as you were saying, really flows, and it's funny because it's got that filler in it, like that. That's what's funny about it, right? Because it has some filler in it, but these songs, like Leave the Light On, Messengers, and then the that 10 to 12 span right there from The Kids Are All Wrong, May 16th into Oh and Meanie is just perfect. And you can see though, look at the year it came out in. It came out in 1998, so it came out after Dude Ranch, but like in that same climate basically. Pop punk. Uh, I don't think had really been defined in the way that we would come to define it yet. And this album was huge on there. So I am really looking forward to May 16th this year. Let's take a listen. See if we have a live version up. Let's see how good this footage is here from 2018. I wanted to look something up to see the exact amount of shows they played, at least according to setlist.fm. And if the list is to believe, they played about 16 shows in 2000 and 2001. Lagwagon was not very active in that time period. The members were all over the place. They were doing a whole lot of stuff. And producing. You had Bad Astronaut. You had a lot of stuff going on. So it's not like they went away. They just kind of took a long time in between albums. Especially, I think, after an album that was so well received like that. By the time 2003 hits and they come out with Blaze, a lot of things have changed. Like the pop punk boom in the mainstream has happened. The bands that are not quite in the mainstream but not super underground are starting to really, really pick up speed and regain some of that speed and maintain some of that speed from the 90s. So I think there was probably a lot of pressure on Blaze, I want to say. But as we're gonna talk about, what was life changing for me. Their songs hit, man. That's the thing with Lagwagon, and I would say No Use for a Name as well. Those are the two bands I put like that, where the songs just, there's, emo is not the right word because we think of emo music, and that's not what I'm saying. But having that emotional resonance, and I think both those bands do it to different degrees for sure. There's a lot of songs like on this album that we're going to talk about here, that are just out of hand. So originally, I had cut together a nice little supercut of a lot of live footage of a lot of these songs, but you know what they say about the best laid plans of mice and men. My slides are a little difficult to see. Let's see if I can make that bigger. Yeah. Kind of. So I am just going to be kind of searching the internet for live versions of a lot of these songs. Maybe doing some lyrical deep dives, hitting up some songmeanings.com. Let's have a little fun with Burn. Which, before we do that, do a little Wikipedia style research. Nothing too deep. This is not like a full scale video, but let's just look at what the very, very basics are. Sixth studio album by American punk rock band Lagwagon, released in 2003. Lagwagon recorded with Ryan Greene in March of 2002. While on the 2002 Warped Tour, the band handed out promo samplers, including 2 songs from the album Dinner and a Movie and Never Stops. In September, the band were writing material for their next album, which they spent November recording. The album marked their first official studio release in 5 years since Let's Talk About Feelings. The absence was due to Joey Cape being involved with band projects like Bad Astronaut and Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. Lagwagon did not completely disband during that time and briefly reunited in 2002. I wouldn't say they reunited, though. Like, I don't consider them to have gone away. On December 15th, December 25th, excuse me. December 25th. Isn't that like a date that we acknowledge sometimes? 2002, Blaze was announced for release in April 2003. On March 17, 2003, the album's artwork and track listing was posted online. 2 days later, Falling Apart was posted on the label's website. Blaze was released on April 8, 2003 through Frat Records. In April and May 2003, the band embarked on a headlining U.S. tour with Avoid One Thing and Yellow Card. On May 31st and June 1st, the band held one-off shows that were recorded as part of the Live and a Dive series. All the great fat bands have a Live and a Dive. In August and September, the band toured across Europe, which included appearances at the Reading Festival and Leeds Festival and 4 shows as a part of the Reconstruction Festival. Reception. This was the first Lagwagon album to rank in the Billboard 200, reaching 172. So, I mean, that's the last time I think you would take charts like that serious, because it feels like since like music died in the mid 2000s, and if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Since that happened, it feels like a lot of these older punk bands, when they release new music, tend to chart, but I feel like that just doesn't mean as much. That's kind of has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. But did you check it out, Archivist? That's proto Yellow Card too, right? That's them headlining, right? And Yellow Card as a support act, because Yellow Card doesn't really break to, I want to say, well, it's 2003, right? Do they leave that tour? Let me see if there's a backlink to that note. Yeah, and there's a pretty well circulated clip of Cape online talking about. I think wasn't it that Blink left had to leave the tour mid tour too, because they were kind of blowing up right at that time. And I guess though I'm I want to say No Use did a similar tour right around the same time, and it might have been with Yellowcard or another lower level band that they took under their wing and then became huge a few years later. Yeah, this is I think 20 years of around that album too, which which I don't really feel qualified to talk about. I like that album, I do. I just didn't like it. I did the whole thing. It's big time. It's not cool. But I've listened to the album. It's pretty good. And over the years, certainly, I've had the song on the playlist. Um. Okay. Speaking of punk news, there's a few reviews of this album online. Some contemporaneous reviews. April 15th, 2003. So 20 years ago in a couple of days. Finally, the new Lagwagon album. Joey has been busy with Gimmes and Bad Astronaut over the past few years, and he has come back to Lagwagon with a fresh outlook. Right off the bat, the first track you could hear the Bad Astronaut coming through in Burn, with its laid-back tempo and mellow, arpeggiated chords in the guitars. Other songs have similar moments, and other tracks blur the lines between slow Lagwagon and fast Bad Astronaut. But never fear, old-time Lagwagon fans. They always burst back into the breakneck double-time beats and ultra-fast riffs. These guys may be getting old, they're falling apart, but they aren't letting up on the energy. That is a Florida band, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, archivist. As far as pop punk goes, you're really gonna show pride in, oh, that band's from Florida. That like, oh, they're all from Florida. They give us a bit more than the usual time, around 14 tracks, the most they put on an album since Duh, which Duh is very long, and 41 minutes of music, which is really long considering their previous CD, Let's Talk About Feelings, as the archivist mentioned, was a mere 25 minutes. They gave us more after waiting for 4 years. One of my favorites, Billy Club, an awesome moderate tempo rocker with Angus Cook cello intro. Angus Cook, who worked on all of these albums back in the day for a lot of bands. And sweet and simple vocal melody with a slight distortion effect over it. Burn, the opener I mentioned earlier, is another favorite with its multiple tempo changes. It covers some less familiar ground for the band, while still touching on recognizable hyperactive punk tempos, topped off with a metal guitar solo. Max says appears to be straight ahead classic Lagwagon with blistering tempo and great vocal harmonies. But this track ejects a little something you don't hear much from these guys, with a breakdown of full meter changes that settles into 4/4 and builds upon the last chorus. Joey Cape's lyrics are still top-notch, and he handles serious and not-so-serious subject matters perfectly. Never starts with an acoustic guitar intro, and quickly bursts into a fast-paced song condemning the massive patriotism stemming from 9/11. Fanatics on their knees pray for swift justice, revenge, they condemn mirror image men, hand across America, let's catch hysteria, is a great one. And I love the lines. Colors of democracy fly from every SUV. The misspelled bumper stickers here. Where did all the honor students go? On a lighter note, I Must Be Hateful, Lagwagon pays homage to Jawbreaker, one of their favorite bands, and Falling Apart contains a funny yet telling lyric like blue hair, brown teeth, failing livers, defeat. Maybe we'll try to pull it off for another year. Take this clue and go see Lagwagon while you can. I mean, you could just go see them like next month also. Blaze was worth the wait, but not quite on par with Trash for diversity, though Trash diverse in a different way, i.e. metal. Very true. And not quite up to Haas in terms of overall quality. Those being their classic 2 albums. So right in the archivist zone right there. However, it does delve into some unfamiliar areas for the band, while still keeping their edge and trademark sound. It keeps the great lyrics and melodies you can expect from the band, as well as high energy. It's a solid album, worth a listen, and a must for fans since it may be their last. So, this reviewer, 20 years ago, really bought into the gimmick, if you will, maybe the kayfabe of falling apart, which they were falling apart, no doubt. They're still falling apart. Let me pull up. Let me just have. I want to have the Genius Lyrics site up to kind of check on lyrics, and I want to have songmeanings.com. That's a blast from the past. Remember, go to songmeanings.com to figure out what the hell Alkaline Trio was saying in all their songs. Albums. Let me get this up, and then I'll kind of lock it away for the moment. Oh, shoot. That wasn't supposed to happen. Let me hide that. Okay. So let's listen to a little burn. Let's listen to how this opened up. I don't want to play the live in a dive version. Let's go to this mosh cam version. And, you know, Burn starts out all slow and low and serious. Then the cops are outside. That's great.
And a broken heart. Song's called Razor Burn.
That's not Burn. That's Razor Burn. It's a great song. We're just not going to listen to it now. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. It's a hell of an allegation you're throwing out there, but I would not be surprised. Come on, Burn where you farmer come.
Hi, Montreal.
No, and I think Joey called her his favorite person, like in the world, and yeah, no, it's I don't know, who cares? Good for them if they did. it's just funny. I don't even know what was funny about it. It was. Well, I mean, they were. So all three of those parties were at so all these years I had not seen Lagwagon until last year's Pumpkin Drublic in Arizona, by the way, to close that thread. All three individuals were there. The Gimmes Caper did it twice. And, well, I don't know, but and so Aaron came out both of their sets. Because I can see the pink hair. Aaron came out during the Lagwagon set, and then she was out for a little bit on the NoFX set, which that's common, especially that show in Phoenix, not that far away from where they live. But I don't know. I mean, as far Mike, to be fair, and I'm not seeing this to me, like he is pretty sensitive. You know, Archivist, didn't Joey get divorced like last year too? Yeah, like during the pandemic, like that isn't that a lot of that that acoustic album that he came out with was like a lot about that stuff. Keep your third eye open. Hmm. 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 We've totally slandered these two people. You know, you guys are joking about Dan Frampton a couple weeks ago. I'm trying to do a Dan Frampton video here, making allegations with no basis. It really does. This is the best stream we've ever done. This is the most insight we've ever had. It's true. That's true. We got evidence. You know, well, I mean, the song's about her, but like, or maybe like they put the filter on him, right? Or it's got the voice deepening filter. Burn is such a weird opener. I really like the song, but um, I think especially coming off of Let's Talk About Feelings, you just felt it was going to be all upbeat and doing their thing, and it's like a weird, dreary opener. Which at this time, I feel like we're right around that 2003 era. That's when a lot of the bands were starting to slow their stuff down, and have like their mature albums or their growth albums, and that is this to an extent for Lagwagon, but I just think the one after that is probably more so. Okay, let's let's really dive into it. All right, so let me let the slide get its proper view. Second track, come on, E. Um, the most obvious and transparent song ever. And who is E? None other than Aaron Burkett. I believe that is still her last name, although she may have changed it. I don't know. Is she Aaron Cape? Is that the allegation we are gonna make here? But there's a photo of obviously Mike and Aaron, presumably when they were married, and there's a more recent picture of Joey Cape and Aaron. And as Archivist mentioned, all parties involved extremely tight. Aaron has said it. Her favorite band of all time on Fat Records is Lagwagon. Joey Cape is one of her favorite people in the world. They hang out. They do their thing. That's all we know. Okay, that's all we know that they do. And of course, she got a song written about her, and it is this one, E Dagger. Now the story's it's pretty well known of the. Well, not well known. You could just read the lyrics, and it's pretty obvious. She She wants to preserve her husband. She wants her husband to stay alive. Working counter to that, though, is hanging out with the caper. Her favorite human. That's pretty high praise, yeah. Favorite human. Um, and uh, and so this is the classic, like, hey, wife, hey, woman, stop being such a nag. Let us have a little fun. That is the premise of this song, and it's funny because, as you mentioned, with it being like a bad astronaut song and the vibe and all that, and the way it starts out, we go right back into Lagwagon zone with "Come On E." So let's listen to a little "Come On E." See right there, he calls her his boss, which I mean she is, but
Come on, E. Try to go easy. We can do anything, anything, anything. Come on, E. We got it covered. We can stop anytime, anytime, anytime. Come on, E. It's just a party. Let's go to party town. Where we can party town. Come on, E. Check out my party house. Hurry up, swindle our roads. Do the song. Just to say that all we need is 1, 2, 3, 6. About to
I'm gonna guess Joey and Fatty have had more than one night to release. Oh, that's cool, some guy.
come on. Reach about to sky. Drink to the sun, play all the days, whatever. Just want to get where you go. Nobody got fire. Look at the sun, the sun is rising once again. Here we have this one last night out. All this got the shotgun.
That is not a good version of that part of that song.
I just love that boss. I can live without someone.
You know what, Aaron? I think time proved you could live without Mike. I don't think you were being truthful there. I really don't. You're the best though, Aaron. We're clowning you, but I mean, what a run you've had at Fat Records. Holy hell! And like, staying civil with Mike and Mike being your ex-husband. Yeah, so how I knew she was there, when I saw them back in, what was it, a year ago? It was last April, I want to say, maybe last March. Is he paused for a second, kind of pointed the mic, and then you could see like her purple hair, side stage, and then when NoFX played it, just because of the darkness, it was actually just much easier to make out that it was her. But she didn't come out and perform the big moment. So, but look at the way the album kind of shifted there. So I can imagine just listening to this in real time being very confused about it. I kind of caught on to this album. I knew some of these songs, but this album is an album a few years after it came out, so I didn't have that direct experience. All right, let's check out some Dancing on Collapse. And over here, if you could make them out, there's some highlighted lyrics that I decided to highlight, or a visual aid as I went with the last one. Let's see if we can pick it from a different show than the one that we keep going to. An archivist, I've gone on and on about my horribly amateur bass chops. I just can't do much Lagwagon. I've tried. I can't. I have trouble with skate punk and regular punk and lullabies and one-note songs and everything else.
Here's a somewhat new song that was a lot newer about a year ago.
It's about dancing. You guys want to dance?
You guys want to fucking dance, right?
Yes, I want to fucking dance.
How about people in the back?
You probably have to wait for Nerd for that, but you can dance really fast to this next song. It's called Dancing the Claps. Let's go.
Yeah, I like you said, it's pop punk with the skate punk, but also the that's why I highlighted the absent part, like absent, very chanty, I think, which kind of fits that pop punk vibe too. Another great one. I love Billy Club. I don't think there's a live version of Billy Club, so we might just play a little bit of it. I had trouble looking for a live version of Billy Club. Yeah, it's a Billy Club. No, not Bob.
Leon.
No, I know you've got a thing about wrong button. There we go. I love I Must Be Hateful. Again, we're doing this with this album so much. Like my graphic there. Again, we keep like back referencing Jawbreaker. I'll be honest. I like Jawbreaker, but I'm not like the hugest fan, and not like I have anything against him. It's just not like my 1A. But holy hell, the bands I like are really into Jawbreaker. Let's mess with your brain, archivist. Let's do an acoustic version of I Must Be Hateful. From recent times, too.
simply pathetic if I call you anymore. I can't figure it now. We tallied our scores. I got knocked out. I know when you come to town. I know where you drop your time and whom it's for. But I'm not good enough to share your cup of coffee. 15 years was long enough. Look at me, I'm an no-fly, but another blue coach class acquaintance. Finally, you are free of me.
Now, I would say this song has two distinct vibes. I think it fits acoustically, but at that part on the album was, you're just kind of missing out on that. But I think like if you're really into Joey in this kind of intimate way with his blue hair, it works.
Must be true, it only makes sense. But it's always my fault. Always it's your forgiveness. This unbalanced resolve. I must be.
And by the way, I love and you can really, make out the lyrics in this version. Just the passive aggressiveness of these lyrics, I think, is amazing.
So I hang up that phone, call it a small sacrifice. You still hear me now. Dear you, the vinyl, it was blue. Stuck in poor Blake, commiserating drunks at sea. Do you remember when Jawbreaker rocked the boat? I'm sure you do. And don't. Look at me, I'm an old fly, but another blue coach class acquaintance.
Yeah, I think some guy that's what's missing is the dynamics. What's up, Roy? I mean, I was late to the stream by like a half hour, so it's all good.
Finally, you are free of me. It must be true. It only makes sense. But I can still see you now. The pictures are in every town. I will still write this down. I must be hateful. So I hang up that phone. 'Cause even at those lofty heights, you still hear me. Do you still hear me? Do you still hear me now?
You must be hateful, Joey. You must be. Okay, so here is right. This is where we take. This is where we get into Billy Club, or are we on? Are we falling apart? No, we get to fall apart. Cool. So for Falling Apart, which I think is a great song and an ironic song. I think I created like a cool image here, although I like the thumbnail that I made for this stream. I'm gonna keep doing that style of like the distorted faces. People I think will click on those. But here I have very serious, stern Joey Cape. Although I think he's actually a little bit heavier now, so he might look a little bit older. Then again, he may be in a happy relationship now, so who knows? I love Falling Apart. It's a great song. It's a song that's not relatable to me 20 years ago, but it was 20 years ago, and a lot happens in that time, including myself falling apart. And what's funny about it is like how old is Joey? How old is the caper? So currently 56 years old, which is acceptable fall apart age. Well, Joey Cape's as old as my parents. That's funny to think about. But so then in 2003, he would have been, let's see, let's do math, kids. 76, 86, 96, 2006 minus 3, 37, 30, yeah. About as old as I am now. Maybe that's why I like this song a lot. But what's great about it, too, is it's a text that's taken on new meaning because the references are also dated and old. You know, we talk about Ozzy here, and Ozzy's hanging on by a thread nowadays. He's going to be performing some live stuff, but yeah. I mentioned it before on the Bad Religion stream that, like, I can't believe I'm almost older than Bad Religion when I thought Bad Religion was really, really old. Let's fall apart with the caper here. Which, by the way, too, I think Falling Apart's a great opener.
It's almost Christmas, Sydney. Hello, welcome to the show. Thought we broke up years ago.
Which is a cool reference too, you know, about the time gap. And then don't they have the EP or the LP of My Brother Used to Listen to Lagwagon? Isn't that a release we got at some point?
What's up? I just shit my pants. Gambled and I lost. Good times. I just blew out my knee ball and then I can't get up. Oh shit. I think I broke my back. Where's the wheelchair? I'm on school. I played out. Pretty much. Osteoporosis, glaucoma, and neurosis.
Oh, Roy, this messes with my head, man. No doubt about that. For sure. It's great because there's a lot of punk rock now about being old. Like I look at like a band like even like MXPX who are a little bit older than me, but more of a similar generation. And now they have like the dad punk scene, dad pop punk going. But yeah, to experience it on the delayed reaction is a wild feeling. I think the reference means like, especially like fat Elvis, like Vegas Elvis, nearly dead Elvis, that the capers, he's saying he's going to look so bad and be in such bad shape, but by the time he's 40, that he's going to look like that Elvis. That's how I've always perceived that line.
Who's got a smoke for the caper? Alright, I feel better now. Taking to the bridge. I was just getting spoiled. I'll never be on stage when I'm 50.
We've seen it, Caper. We've seen you on stage when you're 50. Archivist, not a fan.
I'm gonna look like Elvis by the time I'm 40. A little late.
You got him. He got the caper of smoke.
We're already voted. We're already voted. We'll never be the Rolling Stones. I'm staying home. Let's go. Dementia and senility. My feeling my soul's atrophy. I lost all ability, falling apart.
Love that one. Love that one. Now I think we get into Billy Club. Let me see if I can find a version of Billy Club here. Billy Club is next, right? Oh no, we got Max Says. There's a live version of Max Says, I'm sure. Max says, do 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 do. Max says, mm-hmm. Someone's kid did not go to school today. They are calling their parents right now. Let's see. We're going to have to go with this live version from last year.
Joe's son. The song's called Max Says.
This is a song too that like has no great lyrical meaning to me, but it just sounds like passionate. It sounds like something with a lot of heart and soul. That part right there hits me too. His God could never tell lies. That one just kind of, that's an In the Fields one. Real quick, shout out to the band. Just like an all-star team, aren't they? And like if Lagwagon's your favorite band, they're in your favorite band, but they're like also in your favorite band. So I think I'm suggesting Lagwagon based content right now. Keep coming up there. From there, now we go to Billy Club. Let's see. I know I don't have a slide for Billy Club, but I was having trouble finding it yesterday. So there's a couple of official versions. There's a dude doing a cover, but I saw that one yesterday. That's an official version. No. Hey, let's just read some lyrics to Billy Club then. If we can't play the song, you guys can listen to my sweet, sweet pipes over here. Thanks, some guy. Have a good nap. I always forget too, but it's kind of where I have to do this when it fits into my schedule. That it's a lot later on the East Coast, where most of you are. Where did my little window go? Ah, there we are. Let's read some Billy Club lyrics. Okay. There we go. Billy Club has got his strength. It places him above them. The feeble incompletes. Billy Club has found his pride. He looks down on their state. The verdict is justified. It's self-defense. It's vigilance. It's nature's call. Oppose them all. The lesser ones, the vital threat. He needs them. Billy Club has got his faith. He's followed every lead. Messed that up. Set down in history, Billy Club has found his place. It's comfortable and cold. It's here he realized his role. And here it comes, the old defense. He's the consequence. He has chosen the iron grip. He's Billy Club. Desensitized, he's everywhere. He's everyone. He's every. Billy Club has got his strength for this world. Billy Club has got his strength for this world. That is my poetry slam of the night. Thank you. Let's see what the folks on song meanings back in the old days had to say about Billy Club. No, sorry, I got ad blocker on. I'm a hypocrite. Song meanings. Your site is buggy as hell. Okay, so we're running the ad blocker. Let's see what some of the interpretations that the good folks have put in on Billy Club. Oh yeah, so you were on Pacific time. I might have been on Pacific time today, given the how late I was with this stream. Okay. So going back to let's filter this by the oldest first. There's only 5, so this won't be that big of a deal. So the first comment was on June of 2004, and the comment was, I did a little research and found out that there is a bassist called Billy Club. So this song is dedicated to him or something? Question mark. Maybe the song is dedicated to him. If he was a real prick or something, the song describes someone who needs the weaker ones in society to prove themselves to be strong. The lesser ones are the vital threat he needs to them. I don't think Billy Club is one person. He's everywhere. He's everyone. Billy Club has found his place in society. Even tough, he suppresses everyone who loves him. He makes the sacrifice because he doesn't want to be hurt. I think it's about love, but I'm not too sure. Any suggestions? I have read somewhere that Billy Club is supposed to symbolize the police, but I can't remember exactly what article said it, nor where I read it. Thanks. It's about violence, I guess, since Billy Club is the stick police force use and not quite comfortable method to get busted. See, maybe it's about the beast in all of us, since he's always everywhere, he's everyone. I've always just thought it was about power in general. That's kind of my read on the song. I'm sorry, but Billy Club can only be George Walker Bush. W. Get it some thought, and you'll find that out. Well, I mean, I think I'm kind of in that similar vein. Not necessarily that it's about W, but that it's about power and authority. Billy Club being both the weapon and the person using it. Yeah, for sure. All right. So that's our little dive into Billy Club that we couldn't quite do because of we want to keep the lights on around here. We don't want to get the stream shut down. But let's stop that. I love going through that site, Roy. Especially because a lot of it, like, no one's posted on that site in years. Maybe that's why they're trying to get that ad blocker money from me, that ad money from me so bad. But especially how the perspectives have evolved over the years. I wish like a thread site like that would pick up, and people would. I'm a sucker for lyrics. I mean, I like music too, obviously, but I'm such a sucker for lyrics and punk lyrics in particularly, especially And I've been talking about the same guys over and over again because to me they fit in the same zone. The Lagwagons, the No Use for Names, the bands that really lyrically are just amazing. All right, next slide. Oh, I guess I didn't change the title on Max Says. It's hold on. Okay. So I believe the next one's Dividers. Right? Yep. And I know there's a live version of this. And the slides will kind of die here in a second because I just ran out of time. That's what happened. As I was making them. A little peek behind the corner here. Yeah, he's awesome. All right, let's check out Dividers. Which is definitely a political song, I would say.
Anyway, this song's called Dividers. If you know the words, help me sing it. Still meaningful. Let's do it.
I kind of like the bite that it has in the album version a little bit better than that.
As we describe your dream, all the things you ride, till we have no outlines. This picked up when we are safe, without hate, and every mob of one, under of the unsufferable will, united, we must kill. Pick up up a sword, they will enslave your God. But he brought accomplice to their war. But I know
This this is a song that really takes me back. Like, puts me in that 2003 headspace, and in a lot of different ways. Not just lyrically, but definitely lyrically. But it's also the spirit of the lyrics. I mean, these are the good lyrics, but not necessarily earth shattering. But I think the spirit in which they are delivered makes a difference on the contents of lyrics.
I stand. Yeah. Born into the geographical, but I won't elect to let my mind fall.
That anticipation picks up. You kind of thought they were going to go right back into it.
All right.
Let's go into Never Stops. We're almost there at the end. This to me, the other songs are really good, and it's not just because I ran out of time on the slides, but I do think the album takes just a hair downturn from like the ride you're on right after No Dividers. I think like if they wanted to ever release this as just like an EP, and that might be a little long for an EP, but just 8 songs, right there. They kept going, and I don't think this thing is overstuffed. By the way, like I think it works for what it does, but I've always felt just a slight decline right after Dividers.
Me and Leon are gonna do a nice little love song for you guys right now. It's a love song for you, a hate song for the current administration in the White House back in our country. So. I'm alright. Tell me you're alright. Almost there. Barely here. I knew that this day would have to come. Waiting on the wall. Watching giants fall.
I think back what I said. It's a different spot where it falls off. Oh, that part's so good.
They say the party never stops, but I know we cannot get off. Another idiot to the box, briefless air, freezing to the fair. Riding one muscle like the joy, leaning on the chair, leaning on their face. Stay a bit now, please come to the face. God is with us now. Let's disregard the world beyond the wall. True.
I was say, oh wow, man, we got the guy who tracked the guitars on here. Yeah, really good, really good, and just resonates. That's the common theme of the night is how much this album resonates. Let's see if we got a song for dinner in a movie. All right, so I'm kind of flying blind here because again I didn't get to this point in the research, and normally I have a hard out, so I was only planning on covering the first half of the album, but I got the time. Let's see it. We might have to go with the cover just for a second. Is it on Hanging with the Wagon? Let's see. They might not have a live version of Dinner in a Movie. And I don't want to play copyrighted one. Let's check out that acoustic cover just for a second. If it's no good, we'll switch off it and go on to the next one, but that might be what we're dealing with.
Here we go again, till one of us says when, making no mistakes, brake lights illuminate, accidents repeat, you can count on me, crushing you in vain, 'cause I will save you, you can't hate me, we're so well adjusted, darling, it's pathetic justice. Find out where I breathe, suffocate my needs, bag up kept disease, but I will love you, you can't save me, we're so well adjusted, darling, it's pathetic justice. It's already better than last time I ruined another girl's life. I am a portrait of serenity and desperate need. I'll hold you here until you cannot breathe. I'll break up with you, you'll find someone new, so I'll choose misery and I will save you, you can't hate me, they'll all be disgusted, darling, it's poetic, it's pathetic justice.
All right, so here was some, and maybe you can see it on the screen. Some of the contributions from our friends at Song Meanings many years ago. This one's go back to 2002. Great new song, but Joey should stop writing about girls. Why not? He knows how to express his feelings. Well, he knows how to talk about his feelings, that's for sure. Hey, whatever motivates him. As long as he keeps busting out the great tunes. This guy is amazing. I can't wait for the Blaze CD to come out. It's gonna be awesome. It was awesome. That's why we're talking about it 20 years after the fact. All right. What's next on their list here? Lullaby. No, I'm not giving you my ads blocked. I am stealing from you, song meanings. Put me in jail. Oh, we have Lullaby into Billionaire. That'll be a nice little run. Let's see if there's anything a little bit older. Again, earlier I had kind of audited some of the clips. These ones, not as much. But let's see what happens.
No, crank it up. More smoke.
Yeah, there's no smoke. What's the deal?
I'm just smoking weed on the stage.
Send a channel leak, Abstract. Oh, I love this part. Not the best video, but
Big brother isn't watching. He knows we are distracted. All the imaginations have no if I can sing myself down.
the effects, obviously, on the album version make that part much better. But I mean, it'd still be fun. If I was in the crowd there, I'd be having the time of my life. That is for sure. That was probably a pretty good show with the Swinging Daughters. That sounds pretty good. I was into Lagwagon as a kid, but not at an obsessive level. Outside of NoFX, I wasn't into, like, I liked the fat comps. I actually wasn't into the fat bands, I would say, as much as I became later in life. I was much more, not that there needed to be a divide, but I felt like I was much more of an Epitaph guy than the fat bands. And as I've gotten older, I still obviously love those Epitaph bands, but I've continued on more to with the fat bands.
been so long together, alone in immersion, drowning in a dream, billions in our shadows, and wondering what is
Check some real quick. You know what? Like, I do take back my opinion. The album doesn't fall off after Dividers. It actually stays more consistent, and it's less of that roller coaster that I was talking about earlier. That's my hot take that I kind of formulated, right here on the fly. Billionaire, the lyrics though are just amazing. Tomorrow is a heartbreak. 2 more to go, and then we'll do something else, or maybe I'll log off depending on how we're all feeling. I think we might not have a live version there. No, we don't. So we'll read the lyrics of Tomorrow is a Heartbreak, and then we'll see any meanings or interpretations. Bitter X, it must feel bitter holding that grudge. It's a feeling not so familiar, not unlike love. Unrequited, she's scared in hatred. Yesterday's moving. It's easier to locate a better nest. Tell them you never lived in such a mess. Emily, at her best in black, reminds them all to stand back. At a distance, they won't notice the act, all that she lacks. You can see up close she's bitter, remembering wasted dinners. Can't expect the creep to stay long, but he's not the one who pissed her off. Today is denial. It's easier if she won't see him again. It's easier if she won't see him again. He's just another trip best forgotten. Emily may be cold, but she always gets even. I can't read. Emily may be odd, but she always gets even. It's not unlike love. Emily will find him again. Another short-term boyfriend. Emily, you'll always be alone. Tomorrow is a heartbreak. So bitter X, I'm sorry. Sorry, I bit that hook. I'm just a bad cliche in your black book. God. Caper had his pen going in this era. In his bag, as the youth would say. Worst song off Blaze. So not true. Best song off Blaze, next to Lullaby. I think the song is about the depression, many bad boyfriends, and breakups. I'm not sure, but maybe there's an eating disorder like bulimia, remembering wasted dinners because of a sexual assault or rape, or something along those lines. Can't expect the creep to stay long, but he's not the one who pissed her off. Been smelling her ex with the cross X. It sort of points out that there's something wrong with her. I don't know, but the lyrics kind of say this is what love, not unlike love, but maybe that's just like taking the good with the bad or something. I've just confused myself. I take it as a substance abuse song. Honestly, I've always thought it was like a metaphor, an allegory for substance abuse. As someone who has been bitter over the loser of a relationship before, those first two lines, particularly the ones about the bitterness being a lot like love, is true as fuck. Luckily, I grew my balls back and stopped acting like F word slur over some worthless. Well, uh, this song is about a girl he dated after the relationship was over. He realizes that she is the kind of girl that moves on from shitty relationship to shitty relationship, no matter how much of a creep the guy is. Rather than staying in committed relationships, she moves on to a better nest, since it's easier to just forget the past and tell people it never happened. Tell them you never lived such a mess. Once the second part of the song begins, Joey talks about how she keeps even her closest friends far away because she doesn't want them to see her for what she really is. She knows deep down she's shit and her situation is shit. The last part of the song talks about the kind of guys she dates, and they're all assholes and creeps, and even though she sees this, she'll be back with another one, just like him. As a result, she'll never be truly happy. In the last line of the song, Joey understands, and he was like the rest of them, and he's sorry for himself, and he felt sorry for it. Sorry, I bit that hook. Overall, it's a great song that says a lot. However, I could easily see this as a social commentary about today's girls as well. How girls who date assholes let their BFs get away with anything, and they sit there and let the cycle happen over and over again. You are not sour, my friend. They do nothing that helps us, and they will always be alone for it. This song is about a girl who goes through guys on a short-term basis, locate a better nest, and she's done with this fellow and gets a new one. So bitter ex, sorry, I bit that hook. I'm just a bad cliche in your black book. God, I love that line still. As then he's just another one that she's been through. One more. Well, there is only one more. Let me take a swig of water for the working man here, and then I think the commenters thus far have been a little off, and I think the song is more straightforward than you're making it out to be. It's less about a girl per se and more about Joey's process of grief. Yesterday's moving, aka the distancing himself from the situation. It's easier to locate a better nest. Tell them that you never lived in such a mess. Today is denial, aka denying his previous feelings, that he's jealous of the new love interest. Can't expect the creep to stay long, but he's not the one who pissed her off. Then tomorrow is a heartbreak, aka acceptance, where the song gets a little more vindictive, as if he's crushed by the situation. Emily, you'll always be alone. After an acceptance, he wishes it never happened at all. Sorry, I bit the hook. Side note, who is Emily? Is Emily E from E Dagger? She also referenced in name dropping off of Haas. Emily had sex with Joey. Come on, E. Archivist, if you're still there, the conspiracy is growing, man. The conspiracy is growing. Great show indeed. Agreed with the pick after roller coaster rather. Nice. One more. One more. And baggage. Let's see if we have a live version of the very, very long baggage. Such a trippy song too, right? Unless I'm thinking of the completely wrong one, which is a possibility on tonight's stream. Let's see. Take our chances here with. You can't get fooled again, right?
You guys can all feel metal right now? Because we're going to serve it up. Hello? Hi.
Okay, Roy, there is some ridiculous and unsubstantiated bullshit in the E-Dagger analysis. It should be on kind of DVR now. I think this goes up after unless it gets taken down. And this one, I don't have to do a lot of editing too, so I'm going to try to turn this around as a video very, very quickly. So you're going to want to check it out. It's can't miss stuff, honestly. I hate getting the phones out. Let it down 5 kids. Listen to Bad Astronaut. Those are my friends in Fighting Monsters. We'll listen to them another day or at the beginning of this stream. So that was fun. That was fun going through Blaze. I know the back half was a little less organized. I kind of ran out of time, and I thought I was going to run out of time on the stream, so I wasn't going to get to that back half. So we kind of improvised and had a little fun. I'm going to log off a little bit soon because it is really, really hot in this room. And as I mentioned earlier, it is unseasonably warm. So I'm going to head on out here in a little bit, but not quite yet. I want to see some stuff. I love my thumbnail. I don't know why. I hope the video does well because I really like that thumbnail. Let me pull up something. Let me hide this screen really, really quick because I want to pull something up because I want to kind of do a little bit of research on what could be upcoming. Obviously, I have my stream booked for May 16th. But now next week I may do a collaboration on the stream with Shop 31, 31 Shop. Wait, get that right. I don't know if it's going to be on the stream or we'll record offline. Honestly, probably offline, but I don't know. Thanks, Roy. Good to see you, man. Keep coming around most Tuesdays. Screwed up last Tuesday. And I'm trying to get my editing together. That's the longest part of the process, and I get very particular for not always the greatest of results. Yeah, here's a basic thing of my notes on some of the album anniversaries. And I always want to do album anniversaries like exclusively on my channel as long form deep dive videos. Right now, I just don't have the time for that. That's part of why I've been going live so often, because I just don't have the time to make content right now. But I still want to communicate with you guys, be a little bit of a community. There's Death by Stereo. We had Rise Against have its anniversary. So according to my research, April was pretty open. So probably not an album anniversary coming up. But look what we got in May on top of the 16th. War on Errorism. We have the anniversary of Rance's debut album, which I'm gonna re-dive into and reassess. And I ranked it low on my ranking video a couple years ago. I feel much worse about that than where I ranked Rance's soft title album. Good Morning by Alkaline Trio, which will probably the time to do that will be on the 16th, but I want to dedicate May 16th to May 16th. That stream will be almost identical to this. Less Than Jake. We're going to break them down. Good Riddance, maybe or maybe not. But that's kind of what May looks like. I haven't decided what we'll do next week on the show. Maybe War on Errorism is coming up. I do a lot of NoFX streams, so sometimes I try to space them out. And I did cover a lot of songs from Raw and Errorism recently, and I don't like the way that stream came out. So I might want to redux on Errorism. I might want to do a deep dive on Errorism and also an exploration of how that era created Fat Mike. In fact, that's most likely what next week's stream will be, although it could be 2 weeks down the road. So maybe we'll go back, we'll play a game, we'll play a spin a wheel. Keep in touch, everybody, though. And by being keep in touch, comment on the community post, comment on these videos, like these videos, subscribe to these videos, enable notifications on these videos. Do what you gotta do to help a buddy out here. I've really not liked real life lately, and I've been having a lot of fun just diving into content. This, even in some other stuff I do not related to punk rock. I've been having a really, really good time doing it, regardless of the quality. Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss. I say this every stream, but I really need to get my shit together and get back on Twitch and have that be a little more random, maybe, but more of like, just straight up reacting to stuff. And I want to build in another night pretty regularly for more of a hangout stream like I did Saturday, where no research, no notes, no real focus, just kind of watching videos from around the internet, commenting on news. Maybe every couple of Thursdays. I don't know. But stay tuned for that. As it is, though, guys, I am going to sign off. It's really hot in here. I am starting to stink. I am falling apart. So I will see you soon. But at the latest,